It is now. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll get started. We'll do I'll just go off of the agenda and read off of the agenda if that's okay. We'll do call to order. And welcome those who are visiting. If we have any visitors, this would be an opportunity for them to speak, right?
Yeah, and there's that paragraph. I can read it today. Now is the time for visitor comments. The visitor comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. The library board will take all input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our board secretary is taking notes of action if needed. Thank you for participating in visitor comments. Who would like to speak? We do not have any visitors in the meeting right now.
Okay, thank you. Um, Next item is the approval of the minutes from September 8th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve? Is that the correct process?
Perfect.
A motion to approve.
One second.
Second that motion.
Aaron, is that you? Second? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to old business, strategic plan subcommittee report.
Let's back up for just a minute. You just need to call for a vote.
Oh, could we have a vote, please?
Yes.
All right,
Any nays?
got it. Thanks.
Thank you. And so old business strategic plan subcommittee report. Do we have that?
We still have not decided how to progress with that, so we don't have any updates on that.
Okay. Fatima, if you wouldn't mind, Jay and I had a brief conversation before the meeting, and he said it would be all right to just talk a little bit about fundraising for the, where'd he go? I don't see him. Do you guys?
No.
Nope, he dropped off. All right. Let's go forward, and then if there's an opportunity, if he comes back, he can talk about what he's working on and how we might be working together.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so new business. First we have welcoming new board member Knudsen.
Welcome.
Hello. Happy to be here.
We're thrilled that you're joining us. We're really looking forward to working with you, Kelsey.
Thank you, Savannah.
Thank you. And next in new business, we have Writers Group and Library Partnership.
That would be me and Jenna. I don't know if you guys saw the press release today. It came out this afternoon, so some very exciting news, which much thanks to Suzanne. By way of background, earlier this year, I was having coffee with another local author, Sharon Hewson, and we were talking about, wouldn't it be great to have an anthology of local Columbia County writers? So we approached the two writing groups, one St. Helens Writers Guild, led by our very own Jana, and the Scappoose Library Writers Group, led by a gentleman named Mike Exenger, and said, hey, what do you think? Should be interested in anthology. And there was a lot of enthusiasm from members in the groups. So out of that was born the first inaugural Lower Columbia County anthology. It's going to come out in March, and there's 18 participants, and for many of them, it's going to be their first publication. So behind the scenes for months now, we've been working really hard, getting everything together. And one of those is planning the launch party in March. So we approached Suzanne and we said, what do you think? We hosted at the library. She said, yes, and let's do even more. Let's do a full month of celebrations. So I'm going to hand it over to Jana, who's going to talk about what that's going to encompass.
Hello there. So like any best-selling book, there will have to be a lot of preamble fun and a kickoff. With the demise of National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, which had been in November forever. Our own local writers came up with February. And so that's what we did in February. This coming February, it'll be a lot more, all in preparation to welcome the anthology to a bookshelf near you. So what we are hoping to do is have, over the course of February, various workshops on writing and publishing. We'll have a special Writers Guild meeting, a local author book sale, and signing event. We have a lot of amazing writers right here in the South County. I can only imagine who's hiding in the North County we haven't found yet. But this is a great chance to celebrate the talent that is here. And part of this too is it helps kind of beef up the support of the library strategic plan with increasing community engagement, that community of lifelong learners. You're never too old to figure out how to tell a story. And then, of course, enhance access to library services. So it's all these good things all rolled up together.
Suzanne, I don't know if you want to touch on the special collection because that's quite exciting.
I would love to. So part of this, part of the brainchild here, and I thank Ellen and Jana for really getting this going, is that we are going to add a local author's special collection to the library. So we will have it, literally, it'll be separated into a particular place. We're inviting authors, local authors, to submit their work. Ellen and Jana can talk about, this first year, but so our task between now and February 14th is to catalog. Nicole's going to spend quite a bit of time cataloging all of the items. So books of poetry, all of the materials will be cataloged. So they'll all be available to search in the online catalog. We will also have some materials that can be checked out, can circulate, some that we'll use as reference. Nicole and I were talking about this, I think, with Ellen, depending on the binding, that some things may just be too fragile to be checked out. We have some of those items, and we'll continue to have some items already in our general circulating collection. For example, Turkey Talk, a new book that was published by a local author, is already in our general collection. It was something that we added because it was of particular interest. It's published by a larger publishing house, so it doesn't present the same challenges for cataloging as the local materials do, and particularly the independently published items. So we think, Ellen, when we talked to Ellen the other day, we think about 30 items will be.
Yeah. No, like Janice said, we don't know who's hiding out there, so spread the word. We'd love to connect with other local authors.
Okay.
So 30, maybe.
All right. So we don't know, but 30 is kind of where we're aiming at this point. And all of those items they'll have a special spine label on them. They'll be, as I said, in a particular space in the library. We haven't decided what we're going to shift, where we're going to put those, because they will be fiction, memoir, nonfiction. So we won't put them, with the general collections in those genre. But anyway, we're really excited. We've been talking for a long time about how to engage with our local authors and writers. And I think this is going to be a really great way for us to kind of, a nascent building of our relationship with authors.
Thank you, Suzanne. We really appreciate it. Any questions?
Fatima, I see that Jay is back. If we wanted to have him talk about the fundraising piece.
Want me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Suzanne and I've been talking on the initial efforts. We've got some money coming or already deposited out of the Elks group, and there, as I discussed with Suzanne, there's 15, 20 different committees at the Elks that are designated for civic activities that relate to raising money and giving back to the community. And I've made a couple more proposals. I got the token $750, $1,000 out of all things, a Spaghetti Wednesday group. And there are multiple others that I've made application to, and hopefully we'll hear back in the next 30 days. It's a process, as you can imagine. But I've also identified a couple granting websites that have a membership and list grants by category. And there are quite a few for technology, teen, social justice, community improvement. And I've updated my membership, and I'll just, Suzanne's got to talk with the city about the process of this. All grants go through a pre-approval process that requires specific information like tax ID, nonprofit status, etc. So we've just got to understand the where and how from the city, what they'll allow us to do, because we're not actually applying for grant. We're submitting a pre-approval. The granting agency trust comes back and says, yeah, you're in our wheelhouse, go ahead and apply. So we're going to start that process over again to see if we can start generating 500 to 1,000 at a time. There's, as you can imagine, there are tens of thousands of granting organizations in the United States, much less in the Pacific Northwest or Oregon. So there are tons of opportunity as the library appeals to a lot of the specific requirements of these agencies, like improving youth or technology or a multitude of topics. So we'll see what we can do there.
Thanks so much, Jay. We're as you said, I'm working with admin to make sure that we are crossing our I's and dotting our T's and getting you the information that you need so we can move forward on some of those grants. And I know this has been a lot of your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for the reports from both subcommittees and for the writers group. Next on their agenda is the library director's report.
Okie doke. Firstly, I'm sad to say that Karina, our wonderful young library assistant, is unfortunately having to move along. She's going to leave us on the 31st is her last day. She's excited about doing some traveling and spending some important time with her family. She's very sad to leave. In fact, she's been inspired to become a librarian since she started working here. So we're really going to miss her a lot. So we've opened we've opened applications for the position. Things are moving very quickly. We have apps open until the 31st, and we already have 30. We published it last Thursday, I think. We already have 30 people apply. I haven't had a chance to look at specific applications to see about qualifications, but we had a nice list of a nice group of people last time around. And I think, we will obviously have a large pool to choose from. She will have large shoes to fill, but we're excited about the opportunity of bringing someone new into the fold. It's been great to have somebody young and if nothing else, she knows the jargon better than we do. We have some fun conversations about whether or not there are certain terms that a person my age, for example, or anybody else at the library besides her is actually allowed to use because of our age. Anyway, she's been lovely. Federal funding is held up by the Senate right now because of the government shutdown. No word, obviously, on when that's going to be resolved. As a result of that, the state of library does know that we have those funds intact until July or June 30th of 2026. Whether or not there's funds to continue to support, federal funds to continue to support state library is up in the air. That'll be decided by the House and Senate reconciliation bill, and that the president obviously would sign. As I think I said before, both the House and the Senate bills have a status quo funding amount of about $22 million. That's in comparison to the $6 million that was in the president's bill. Essentially, that was just to run down close up the Institute for Museum and Library Sciences, which funds LSTA, which is where all our money comes from. As a result of all of that, and I think I mentioned this last time, all the competitive grants, those larger grants that the state is able to award, all that money is federal funds. And because of the uncertainty around funding for the state library, the state libraries decided not to award those grants, which totaled about $300,000 worth statewide. So as you can imagine, that's has a large impact on a lot of libraries in the state. We do have funds continuing for the Summer Library Challenge and Teen Interns for 2026. The state carved that money out and set it aside from the funds that we do have coming in through 2026. So I've been on the LSTA advisory council for the last 3 years. My term expired, so I've opted to step down from the council. One of their main role is to make recommendations to the city to state library for how to spend those competitive grants. So if the grant funds are not there, that council's going to have to not expire, but what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to have to go dormant for a little while until in hopes that federal funding will return to levels where those competitive grants can be supported. In the meantime, all of the online databases and other sources that the state library provides for us, including, the very essential staff support, all of that is still in place. All of that is funded through June 30th of 2026. And the state librarian, I will say, has put a lot of effort into trying to find additional funds from the state government. That, as you can imagine, has been very difficult. Probably not a good prospect, just because of the state of the state budget as well. But she's continuing to work on that. The State Library of Oregon board has been very supportive, and I know they've been active, as has the Oregon Library Association. They have a legislative committee that works on this kind of stuff. So they are all working hard around that, and we're hopeful that the reconciliation bill is going to continue to show support for IMLS and ultimately for us. Genealogy conference, just a quick wrap up. And first, thanks to the mayor for her very warm welcome to the conference, setting a really nice warm tone for the event. We had a small group. We had about 20 people registered to come in person. We ended up with 8. We had about 20 people registered online. All of them showed up and came. They were a little bit in and out. Very enthusiastic. The speakers were really very knowledgeable. They had, as you can imagine, because of the small groups, there's a lot of really great interaction between the speakers and presenters and the participants. They were very grateful for that and thanked Brenda quite a bit, or quite often, quite a number of times about that. really, again, a really great way to engage with a different part of our community than sort of typical library engagement. All of this was funded by the Friends. And we're really grateful to them for stepping up. Otherwise, we would really not be able to present this event without them. Let's see, local history room, just an update. Brenda continues to try to find somebody at Grand Ronde that she can connect with to learn about the name, to make sure that we're appropriately using the name Lou Witt. We got some good advice from Crystal King at the city about another contact that she might have, so we're going to give that person a try as well. If anybody has any other thoughts about who we might reach out to in that tribe, we'd be really grateful for that. We're continuing to work on that and to try to make that happen. So it is in progress. In the meantime, slowly Nicole's able to catalog some of those materials. They're getting into the shelves in the local history room. We've had a lot of interest, especially, as you can imagine, the genealogy conference folks were really excited to see that space and what we have to offer. To that end, Brenda and I just submitted a grant proposal to the state. It's the State Historic Preservation Office. They're called State Oregon Heritage Grants. And we sent in an application for about $5,100, which would allow us, and collaborating with the Museum Association, to digitize the Chronicle editions that have not been digitized. So the state of Oregon, through the University of Oregon, holds digitized copies of many of the print newspapers from around the state, all historically as much as possible. That is a state and federal funded program. And as I said, U of O holds those items as the official state library. So we have proposed collaborating with the Museum Association. They have some of these editions. We have some of the editions. We know that there's an interest. Brenda gets regular requests, as does the museum, for getting a look at some of those materials. Of course, we have the print copies people can come and look at here, but also we have folks from around the country, around the world, that really want to have access to that information. So this grant proposal, these grants are fairly narrow in their focus. We felt like this was a really good use of our time and an effort to write the proposal. It's not a very big lift once provided that we get funded. It'll give Brenda an opportunity to get down to the library down there. She wants to, she'll hand deliver the items, and then she also wants to be able to spend a couple of days with the librarians there and with the collections, just to familiarize herself better with what they have and how what we have might complement their collections. So that's the plan. If chosen, we'll begin to work in January, and the project will go through the mid-2027 if needed. Part of one of the requirements is that we do some public programming. So we've talked to the Museum Association about doing some programs around using materials like this, using the digital library at the university, and then also, sort of on a genealogy side of things, finding materials in digitized newspapers and with a focus on the Chronicle and on the other Columbia County newspapers over time. We had about 60 people apply for or get new library cards during Library Card Sign Up Month. That's about 40% increase over last year. So really consistent with the 40% additional people we've seen come in the building. We also have talked to folks who we had a woman come in last week who specifically wanted to get on Libby because she said it just costs too much to buy books. We really need to be reading them online. She has a couple of kiddos that are reading her out of house and home, and she wanted an opportunity to help her kiddos read more and herself as well. So she was very excited about that. And we're finding more and more folks that are doing that want to have access to Libby and to our other digital resources. So, I mean, we're obviously glad to have them in the building, and they do lots of other stuff once they get here. Also, it's really great for us, I think, to show our support tangentially to the state library's materials, because of course, so many of those digital services that we provide are funded all or at least in part by state library funds. So we're glad for that. Just a sort of inside baseball publishing world. Baker and Taylor is one of the largest, we call them jobbers. Libraries buy materials from them, print, DVD, etc. from them. They are closing. The company was founded in 1828, and they are closing. Because they're one of the largest, it will have an impact on everything from how authors are, who their jobbers are, to indirectly folks like us. We don't use Baker and Taylor, we use one of their competitors, but Baker and Taylor is going to leave a huge hole in that publishing part of the publishing world. And it looks like we'll probably have some hiccups as all that business sort of spreads out to Ingram, which we use, and a couple of other large publishing large jobbers. So it might change, it might slow down our acquisition of items, which means obviously things will just get onto the shelf much more slowly. We're watching that. It's, as I said, it's an indirect effect on us. We have used Baker and Taylor to get our Vox books, the read-along books, but only for the last year, because the publisher there had required that. But since Baker and Taylor is phasing out, they're phasing back in, so we'll be able to work with them and still get our Vox books for the kiddos. They're so popular. What else do I want to say? Okay, partnerships. Oh yeah, let's talk about partnerships. So Halloween, as we all know, is coming up on the 25th, which is Saturday. I think it's next Saturday already. The library and the rest of the city will also be participating in Trunk or Treat, which is that sheriff's office program during on the 25th in the evening. Kiddos come, we all have pop-up tents, we give them candy, etc. This year we are going to give them a bag of giveaways. They'll have some rec department flyers, they'll have our flyers in them, there'll be pieces of candy. I think the police department is putting something in those bags too. So much like we did at the children's parade last summer, we'll hand out those baggies to kiddos when they come up, and hope that some of that information gets put on refrigerators and into calendars with parents. We'll also be participating in the Children's Fair this year, the Kiwanis Children's Fair again. That's 10 to 4 that day, earlier in the day. We shared last year a table with the Dolly Parton folks and with the rec department, and we're going to do that again this year. So Jana and I are going to split some of that time, but we will not be there for the whole program. Our materials will be, but we'll be splitting up that time with those two other groups, which is great because that's a long day than doing the Trunk or Treat, which is 5 to 8, I think. And of course, they're set up and take down. Fingers crossed for better weather this year. It poured rain last year. Yeah, it was crazy. Speaking of the Elks, their warm welcome to the library program for Head Start kids is gonna be on the 1st of November. And just as a reminder, they bring coats, hats, and mittens for kiddos from Head Start. The teachers come, the families come. The idea is that they'll also engage with the library in some way. So we will do, as we have done before, story times in the library, encouraging families to come in. We'll encourage them to get a library card. We're going to this year send out some advance information about what they'll need for a library card. We found that was a bit of a hindrance last year because, you do have to have the current ID, and you have to have the first class mail or something in your phone. So we just want to make sure that folks have that information before they come in the door if they want to get a card. So I think we had about 200 kids and grown-ups last year. The Elks do a wonderful job with that program. They really love doing it. It's really great for us to have it at the library. We're really happy to be a part of that. So that'll be on the 11th, or excuse me, on the 1st. On the 8th is Tom Myers. He's the author of Birds of the Pacific Northwest for Kids, which is a recent, it comes out on the 14th, published by Timber Press. He's going to do a program aimed for ages 6 to 12 with their families. He's going to do a little presentation, and then he's also going to do a drawing activity with the kiddos. He is a 3rd grade teacher and very passionate about birds, as you can imagine. He does a lot of drawing with his kiddos, so we were able to talk him into coming and doing some kind of drawing activity with the kids that come in. So please come and bring your families. He's a really great speaker. He's really interesting. He has a huge social following, which is, I think, kind of how he got his word out. But he's delightful, absolutely delightful. So that'll be a wonderful program. We are not hosting, but the first annual Domestic Violence Awareness Month March is going to be here at the library on Saturday. They'll be using the courtyard and then the lawn outside the courtyard. They're starting a march in McCormick Park. They're going to come to the library. They will have some organizations tabling there. They're going to do a few speeches. They're going to have some music just for folks to hang around. We're really glad that they can use the space. They wanted to be able to use the auditorium, but it's booked. So they were willing to, give this a try. We haven't done anything like this before with the courtyard, so it'll be new to all of us, but we're really happy to be able to support them to the extent that we are able. Let's see what else. We have just a brief update. The new Makerspace and youth programming schedule seems to be going really smoothly. We've had a little bit of confusion about when the kiddos programs are since we've changed that schedule. Michelle and Jana put together some materials for us to hand out to folks to just help them keep track of that. Makerspace folks seem to be really adjusting really well, settling into that schedule. And the other thing is that we're doing that first Saturday of the month, we're doing the story time for families and then the Makerspace time. And we'd love it if you could help spread the word about that. It's challenging, to get families into any library on a Saturday, but we have had people ask us for that. So we're going to give it a try. See how it goes. So if you could spread the word, that would be great. We would be so grateful. We will be closed for Columbus Day. We will also be closed Thursday through Saturday for Thanksgiving. We're going to give all the library staff that long weekend. And then I will be out of town on the 20th and the 21st. I'd like to brag on my daughter, who will be defending her thesis in anthropology. So I will be there cheering her on and trying to not be too loud. She told me I could listen, but only if I was very quiet, or I could go only if I was very quiet. So, and just one last thing, the Friends have some new leadership, and one of the new exciting things is they now have a credit card machine, which they've been really working on for the last year or two. It's at the front desk, so if people come to purchase any of the Friends books and other items, they can use the credit card at the front desk. It's their card, it's their credit card and their device, but we are able to use that to help them, and then they'll be able to use that for their book sales as well. So we're all thinking that that's going to really enhance the number of people that are able to purchase things, because we often, as you can imagine, have people look at us quizzically when we say cash or check, because nobody carries checks anymore, it sounds like, or only old people like me. And that is all. That's a lot to throw at you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Is that your grandbaby?
It is. That's why I've been off camera. It's going to be the youngest member of the library here. She's a month old, so she cries sometimes. So I've had my audio off and my camera, but she's over here listening.
Oh, what a sweetie.
Okay, thank you so much for your report. We will go on to our council liaison report.
That's you, Mayor Massey, when you have a chance.
I'm trying to deal with the crying. Don't really have much. I mean, I was honored to be involved with the genealogy conference. I thought that that was pretty amazing. Actually, it's inspired me to dig in, especially having another little one to the family here. Excited, sad to see Karina go. I've actually known her for quite some time, and I agree with the library director. The lingo, having somebody translate sometimes is really beneficial. So I'm sad to see her leave as well. So hopefully, I mean, I was actually in awe of the 30 applications so far. Holy smokes, that's fantastic. So hopefully there'll be somebody that fits the team there that can move forward. But otherwise, just a fantastic job for everybody. I'm sorry that there's a struggle with the funding and a lot of the stuff that's sitting out there. But what I hear from the grant funds or the grants that you guys are seeking and everything you guys are trying to do, what this board is doing is doing tremendous things for our youth in this community, and just wouldn't be the same without you guys. So I don't really have anything else to report except for I am delinquent on not getting my library card. I had full intentions, but I will be getting one. So you can mark my words on that. So I have to get it renewed, I should say, not a new one, but
Or you
renewed.
can get your grandbabies at the same time. How about that?
Right. I will definitely do that and I'll share. But thank you for the opportunity to speak. I really don't have anything else to share.
Thank you, Mayor Massey. Are there any items, other business that anyone would like to bring up? If not, summary of action items. We have the update from the update from the subcommittees and nothing else on my list. And if okay with the group, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Is that Rob and Aaron?
Second.
Okay. Oh, who's that second?
Aaron,
Okay. I got it. Rob and Aaron?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
and then do we also do a vote for?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we have any? Oh, wait, we can vote. Yays, nays.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. All right, then we can adjourn.
Thank you, everyone, so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.